Hello and welcome to season 3 of Hard for the Money. I'm really excited to be back in action. I know it's been a long time since I've posted content on the channel generally, but also the next episode of the series. So I'm very excited to be doing that today. So as we can see, Sienna is actually in Paka's house, and we won't say that it was like yesterday, okay, but it was like recently. They had unprotected relations with one another, and Sienna broke up with Kohei. Just in case you're not caught up, or just in case you forgot, um, Sienna was dating a guy named Kohei, but Kohei turned out to be not a great fit, so she decided to break it off with him. She is building a bookstore, and her bookstore is just about ready to be opened. It's spring now, and so her grand opening is going to be happening soon, but she just needs to make a few final decisions in terms of who to hire and a few more adjustments around, especially landscaping around the property. But anyway, so ever since she broke up with Kohei, she decided she wanted to date Paka, and so now they are dating. And because of a series of like weird occurrences in her trailer, basically where she has a lot where she has a trailer where she lives basically, and her bookstore. Because of a series of weird occurrences, like somebody's been leaving her some presents and stuff, she doesn't feel quite safe there. So she decided that she wanted to move in with Paka just for a little while, just to kind of settle her nerves and to see what life with Paka would be like, since he has such a nice house and it's not too far from her. All right, so she really does enjoy living here with him. Things are going well with them in their relationship, generally. And she is comfortable around the house enough to, when she's ready to just make herself some food. And she typically makes enough for the both of them, and they typically have breakfast together, and then they go off to do their separate things. So Sienna has been spending quite a bit of time in the house with the baby. She doesn't necessarily want to leave the baby alone, and it's kind of a bother to sometimes travel with the baby more than she was expecting, but it's fine. Okay, and so, but as you can see, she has a loan payment due, and she is living with Paka, so the money that we see here is Paka's money. She actually has 4,092 simoleons to her name, so she doesn't quite have enough to make the final two loan payments, but she has enough to make the first one, which is okay. So which means we'll have to go back to her lot and make a little bit of money so that she can make sure that she can pay off her last loan. And basically once she does that, she's free of the loan payments, which would be really, really great. So she's whipping up some omelets, and I was mentioning before that life with Paka is going pretty smoothly, in that she's been basically spending a lot of time inside with the baby, but she'll be heading out later today to see a friend, actually, which is kind of rare for her. I think we can say it's been a few weeks since then. It's a little rare for her to, yeah, and like her mom's like trying to contact her. It's been a while since I've actually been in the game to just play the game. I've done a lot, and I mean a lot of building in the game, and I've done a lot of other things outside of The Sims, but I haven't played in a while. So it kind of felt new. It kind of felt fresh, and I was like, oh, I'm actually kind of having fun, which was good. Of course, there is the storytelling aspect to the game that I enjoy, and that also was kind of a little stressful but fun at the same time. I think the game was cooperating a little bit more with me this time around, which made me happy. Okay, so here's Paka joining her for breakfast. He's so scrawny. I'm the kind of person who likes bigger people. There's nothing wrong with being on the smaller side, but I'm just kind of noticing that he's not very hefty. But that's fine. That's fine. She loves him just the same. Okay. So Sienna is kind of a homemaker type, so she doesn't mind serving food. So she typically cooks, and sometimes they'll cook together. But in this case, she's just going to serve it. They're going to have breakfast together, and Paka will take care of the dishes. And she likes it there. She thinks the house is a little bit too big for her taste. But she thinks at the same time, if they have a lot of kids, it would be the appropriate size. But for her at the moment, she thinks it's a bit extravagant. And I asked Paka to put the food away, and this was the game's idea of him putting the food away, I guess. I had to do it after all. Okay. And so, Sienna, I think in the previous season, reached level 10 cooking skill, so her food's always fantastic. So they're going to have a nice quiet breakfast together. And so Paka sometimes he heads out. They have like a baby monitor, so he doesn't go too far. Like they both consider if they're in the neighborhood, then it's fine. Because Sienna sometimes have to pop back to her bookstore, but she has like a baby monitor. She can go right back to Paka's house very, very quickly, just in case of an emergency. And Paka's basically the same. So Paka's telling her about what he's going to be doing today, and she's telling him about what she's going to be doing today. And they're both just kind of, just having a good time. I think the domestic life. Okay, so because I have to keep moving them in and out, the welcome wagon is just going to be a thing we have to sort of get rid of every now and again. I apologize. It is what it is. They have enemies because of that. Otherwise, they're very lovely people that people don't necessarily dislike, with the exception of Kohei. Kohei is a different story. All right, so breakfast is done. And as you can see, Sienna's kind of feeling not so great. I mentioned before that she and Paka had unprotected relations, and so there's a chance that she could be pregnant, and so we'll be figuring that out a little bit later in today's episode. So Paka's gonna go ahead and clean up, and she's going to head out. She's going to be seeing Nalani actually, which is good because it's been a while since the last time we saw her. All right, so here we join Nalani in her grandmom's home, actually. Her grandmother passed away some time ago, but she inherited the house. And here is her was live-in boyfriend, but as we'll find out soon, they have some great news that they want to share with Sienna. So Sienna is basically meeting him for the first time, although she's heard of him. Sorry about the lagging. She's heard about him a few times, but she's never met him before. So she's excited to get out of the house and meet somebody new. Okay, and so here's Nalani. Oh, the game gave Paka, not Paka, his name's not Paka, his name is Akira. The game gave Akira some kind of condition where he can't see, so they gave him glasses. So it's kind of cute, but like what? So anyway, Nalani is announcing to Sienna that she and Akira are engaged, but I'm sorry, I can't say his name. Akira is a jealous sim, so he keeps getting mad. Like every time I try to have them interact with each other, he just gets mad. So I'm like, okay, let's just go inside and like watch a movie, and he'll probably calm down. But yeah, jealous sims in this game are the worst. If you try to do anything with their significant other, whoever, they freak out. And then also, like when they're at work, they're just like worried about like, oh, what are they doing? Are they doing something behind my back? It's so intense. Okay, so anyway, Akira and Nalani are having some difficulties. It's not relationship trouble, but it's trouble in regard to the house. So as you can see, it's a really well lived in home, but it's huge, and they don't feel like, of course she inherited it, and so she doesn't know if she should keep it on. The house requires a lot of repairs and things, and it's kind of a big headache for her and for him. They're kind of wanting to move into the city. They're just kind of wanting to, start a family. And of course, this is a nice place. They're used to living there, but they just don't like it, if that makes any sense. So it's one thing if they have it as an extra property, but it's an entirely different thing if, they actually have to live there and they don't really want to live there. So she's considering, what should I do? Should I sell it? I feel kind of bad. It's my grandma's home, but honestly, I don't want to deal with the responsibility. And so Sienna's just trying to calm them down and tell them that there's lots of options that are open to them, that they don't have to like rush into anything, so long as the house is paid off, and they're living there. It's not like they have to rush to do the repairs. So Nalani heads off into the kitchen. She wants to talk privately with Sienna about something. Well, Akira plays video games. Okay, so we're just gonna wait for Sienna to join her. And basically, Nalani has been hearing some things from Sienna. She's been talking to her on the phone, and that's how Sienna knows about Akira. But at the same time, she's like, Sienna, you've been telling me that you haven't been feeling really good recently, and so I'm just kind of wondering, what does that really mean? And so then Sienna's like, I just have a lot of stress, and there's a lot of things going on right now. I'm not exactly sure. But Nalani is like, I don't know. You said that, you and Paka hooked up, right? But Sienna didn't tell her that it was unprotected. So Sienna's like, well, yeah, but, I don't think it's that. If it was that, I would know. Like, I think I would know if I was having a baby growing inside of me. And so Nalani's like, well, I looked on this website, and it said that, you have all the signs. And so Sienna's like, at the same time getting nauseous. And she's like, no, it's just stress. You're right, Sienna. Sienna thinks that the house looks fantastic. Actually, for her, it's the kind of house that she would love to raise a baby in. So she kind of she likes it. It's it's smaller than Paka's house, but she feels it's the perfect size to raise a family in. So for her, secretly, she thinks that they should stay there and have a baby, and basically raise their kid there. That's her secret feeling. But she tells Nalani anyway that she will get her in touch with the person who's helping Ariel. Now Ariel's building a property herself. And so, because she's so helpful, Nalani gives Sienna a gift to say thank you. Okay, so we rejoin Sienna. She's basically heading back home. And I meant to say before, sorry, before the little commercial break, that Ariel is building a property or having a property built as well. She's going to start a new store, but Sienna hasn't actually been by to see it. But she knows that she's working with people. And so she thinks, okay, well, if it's a real estate company, I might get her in touch with whoever Ariel's in touch with, because from what I understand, everything's going very, very smoothly. So she promises that she'll do that for Nalani. And she had to pee really bad. Yeah. Sienna, you have to pee all the time. What could it mean? What could it mean? So anyway, back home, she calls for Paka, but she can't hear him. So she's thinking that maybe he might be in his room. So she doesn't want to disturb him. So she just goes up to see the baby. And to her surprise, there's some lady here. And she's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm the nanny. And Sienna's like, nanny? I didn't agree to anything like this. For her, she's like, I don't want a stranger on my baby. I don't even know you. I've never met you. What are you doing here? And the nanny's like, I was hired by Paka, and we're close friends, and I'm not a weird person. And Sienna's like, I'm sure you're not, but can you please leave? Like, I'm here now, so can you go? Thank you. I want to be my baby. So Sienna thought, there's a thunderstorm. You might have heard the stinger just now. There's a thunderstorm, so Sienna's a little scared. Oh, no, actually, let me take that back. It's not a thunderstorm. There was a fire, and so sometimes she remembers the fire. That's what it was. But it's not important. Anyway, it just makes me feel good to see her with the baby. She tried so hard to get Sam. And she's so happy to have Sam in her life. That's why she's a little upset with Paka. Like, she's like, why would he do that? Why would he do that and not say anything to me? Why wouldn't he talk to me first? And so she's really not happy about that. So she goes up to Paka's side and she doesn't hear anything. So she thinks that maybe he's not home or he's just asleep. And so she's been kind of curious about this other part of the house that she's never really seen before. And he basically told her that, like, on the attic space, basically, that there's a place with a lot of books. And she's welcome up there. She wants to go up there to relax or to read or whatever, because he knows that she likes books. She's opening a bookstore and all that. And so, still she's unhappy about the situation. And so let's have kind of a look around here. As we can see, actually the game, because I moved them out so much, the game made it so that they don't have any books. So I was going to try to, like, open a bookcase and show that off and stuff, but they don't have any books. They only have the one toddler book that lady was reading just now. So anyway, it's a pretty big space, and Sienna is kind of impressed by it. So she decides she wants to walk around, have a closer look, and she notices that one of the bookcases is just kind of off, and she's like, "Why is that bookcase like that?" And so she goes to inspect it, but then she hears Paka calling for her, and so then she's like, "Oh, Paka's home! Yay!" I'll talk to him about what I'll be able to get to see him, which I'm happy about, but I'll also talk to him about the nanny, which I'm not so happy about. Okay, so Paka's basically going to come up and they're going to have a little chat. And one of the main problems with Sienna is, well, in the relationship with Kohei, it was that he wasn't paying her enough attention. He was like lying to her about things, and she didn't like that. Now Paka is kind of a goofball, which can be annoying at times, but they get along relatively well. And so she thought that they knew each other better than he would just make a decision behind her back, and she wouldn't exactly know, about the nanny. Anyway, she was sad, so I was gonna have him cheer her up, but because he came and she loves him, she became confident. So never mind. So anyway, so he does cheer her up, and I do appreciate that, because when she was with Kohei, it was a different story. He just made her tense and like nervous and like unhappy all the time. So anyway, they're gonna have a little chat, and Paka kind of understands where she's coming from, But at the same time, he's like, it's really not that big of a deal. She's a close friend of mine. You can trust me. You can trust my friends. And, there's no reason for you to get that upset. It was just for the afternoon. And she's like, have you ever done this before? And he's like, no, this was the first time. And, I definitely won't do it again. So they hear the baby crying. So Paka goes upstairs. So a little bit earlier, and when she was in the bathroom, I rotated the camera. And after I did that, it never got, it took a long time for the camera to return back to normal. So that's why the angles are kind of strange and why the view is kind of weird. It was really, really weird for a little while. It fixed itself before the end of it will have fixed itself before the end of the episode. So, but just in case you're wondering why does it look so weird, that's why. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I fixed it, but it was just like that for a while. So Sienna doesn't want to go to sleep upset. So Paka sleeps in his room. She sleeps in her room. She doesn't want to go to bed upset. So she decides, I'm just going to smooth things over with Paka and become nauseous because I'm obviously pregnant and pay my, not student loans. That's another story. And pay my, penultimate, I guess we can call it, loan payment. So basically after this, okay, Sienna's going to have dinner, which is basically breakfast from this morning because she's hungry, obviously. And, because I've been dropping hits this entire episode, she is basically pregnant. Now, unfortunately, we don't get to see her celebrate being pregnant because we didn't find out while I was recording. It happened overnight after I'd already finished this part of the episode, which is unfortunate, but she is pregnant, so I'm happy to announce that. All right, so yes, as you can see, there's a little icon there, and she is obviously pregnant. So another thing that I tried to do, and I was disappointed that it didn't work, I tried to use MC Command Center to pause her pregnancy so that she wouldn't, because I want to play it out for a while. I didn't want her to be in the first trimester just yet. But it didn't work. So, all right. So here's the part of the episode where Sienna is going to let Alice and Selim know that they are hired. So she's going to call Alice first. Hello. Hi, Alice. This is Sienna. Oh, hey, Sienna. So I'm calling to let you know that you're hired. How soon can you start? Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that everything worked out. Yeah, so we want you to come in for training soon. How soon? Well, we're thinking of opening within the next week or so. So sometime within the next week would be good. Actually, there's something I want to talk to you about. Okay, I wonder, what could it be? I was actually offered another job at a company in the city, so... Oh, did you accept? Not yet. I'm considering. All right, well, there's no rush. Let me know what you think. Okay, so yeah, so basically, Sienna's a little disappointed, but she hopes that things will work out after all. So she calls Salim, and things with Salim go a little bit better, but very similarly. So basically, she lets him know, hey, you're hired. Can you come in for training soon? And he's like, yeah, I'm available anytime. And she's like, oh, awesome. And he's like, it's kind of funny. Very soon after I had my, interview with you, I was like headhunted by this like weird clothing company, but I turned them down. I'm excited to work for you. And so Sienna's happy about that. So she says, oh, yeah, we'll see you soon. He's like, yeah, awesome. He's a writer, so he wants to work for the bookstore. And so Sienna's kind of curious about that. So she thinks it's not a coincidence. So she's thinking to herself, it's a clothing store, and I'm pretty sure Ariel is opening a clothing store. Is Ariel trying to get my employees? That's kind of strange. Like, why wouldn't she just, do her own hiring in her own situation? Why would she be looking at the people that I'm looking at? Doesn't really make any sense. So Sienna has that kind of in the back of her head now. That situation's kind of strange. So in any case, she will be talking with Ariel in the next episode. She will be going to meet with her, and she will be having a little tour of her property to see how it's coming along, and so she'll be able to ask her about that then. But for now, we have to make a little bit of money in order to pay the final loan payment. So that's what we're going to be working on at the moment. So Sienna, if this is your first episode for whatever reason, is basically an artist. And so she has been painting, and she's been doing freelancer odd jobs that are related to painting in order to basically build this property up from the ground up. And so in order to make money, she doesn't have to do it every day because she makes quite a bit of money each time. She'll just find an odd job, or she'll do some painting and she'll sell the paintings from the little canvas selling table thing. And so these types of jobs usually go pretty fast, but only if they are accepted. So who is this? I've never heard of you. It's Tomu, whatever his name is. And so, yeah, so she will continue to do this kind of, okay, here's Blaine. Hi, Blaine. And so I thought that meant that he would just, she would just build a relationship with him, but apparently that meant he was going to come over. So unexpectedly, we'll be seeing Blaine in this episode. And then also there's a welcome wagon. This is like kind of chaotic at this point. And then there's Paka'a. So when I left Paka'a, actually, he was taking a bath. So that's why his icon is a mermaid icon. Actually, Sienna has never seen him as a mermaid. So that'll be one thing that maybe we'll do in this season of this series. Maybe we'll see Paka'a in his mermaid form for the first time. Okay, in any case, Blaine is here. Oh, yeah, we don't like these two guys because of the welcome wagon. I told you about the welcome wagon. They just won't stop. And there's Paka'a in all his mermaid glory. Merman glory? I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, so anyway, Blaine is Sienna's brother, and they are tight. So, him coming over and stopping by and saying hello to, and spending some time with her is not rare. So I definitely am not going to kick him out. He can stay here. He can do whatever he wants because, that's her brother and she trusts him and she loves him. But we really do have some work to do. So we're not going to be able to talk to him as much as maybe he might have hoped. Yeah, so as you can see, one of the jobs was, what do you call it? Not approved? Rejected. There it is. And so Sienna, because she is pregnant, needs to go to the bathroom. So I'll have her do that first, and then I'll have her finish editing the content, and we'll try again. If it doesn't work, we'll fake it. But if it works, we won't fake it. So we'll have her do that. And you're able to have, especially this is the first time you're ever watching any of these, you're able to see, and here's Paka'a again. Whenever you have a boyfriend or girlfriend in this game, they're so thirsty. They like send you a message every other hour. Like, do you want to come over? Do you want to see what I'm wearing? Anyway. Yeah, you're able to see a little bit of her bookstore. This is the break room of the bookstore. It's all basically ready to go except for the landscaping and employees. So yeah, so there she goes with the re-edit. And let's see if it gets accepted this time. Any day now. I can't do like two things at once. Hello, brain. There it is. I don't know what took me so long to click that. Okay, so let's see if we can have it. Yeah, yay! Okay, so Blaine's gonna head out now. Bye, Blaine. Love you. Bye. Blaine is super adorable. There's Paka'a again, trying to get some. Alright, anyway. Yeah, I was mentioning that she hasn't seen him in his mermaid form, so we'll definitely be doing that at some point. There she goes, eating. She's a little hungry. And so at this point, I thought that I wasn't aware that if Blaine had left or not. And I thought he was coming back. Like maybe he went outside for a moment and then came back in. But no, it's just that thing in the game where people just come over just because they can. And so I was going to try to kick this girl out, but then I thought, you know what? It's about the end of the episode, so I'll just end the episode there. In any case, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again in another one. Bye!